Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Thanks very much everybody for joining me once again. Saj Saddiq for PakPassion, bringing you another exclusive interview. Delighted to be joined by a South African spinner of note, famous all around the world. He's played 2 test matches for South Africa, 55 ODIs, 70 T20Is, where he has an amazing record. He has 334 first-class wickets, 192 List A wickets, and 363 T20 wickets. As I say, amazing numbers. He's played in the CPL, in the PSL, in the Big Bash League, and many, many other leagues all around the world. In fact, I think if I named all the teams that he's played for, it would take me about 15 minutes. 89 wickets in 70 T20Is at a brilliant economy rate of 7.39, and recently he was playing in the Big Bash League for Adelaide Strikers, where he took 8 wickets in 4 matches. So the guy's in form. He's hugely popular around the world, the one and only Tabraiz Shamsi. Tabraiz, hope you're well.
All good, my brother. That's a lovely little introduction there. I think you've been too kind to me.
Well, I'm only stating facts, my brother, and it's numbers that you've earned through hard work and your achievements, so it's only right that I should mention them.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's what's written for us. All we can do is work hard.
Absolutely.
And the rest,
yeah,
it comes to us.
Tabraiz, the T20 World Cup is about to start. In fact, I think when this interview gets published, it will have already started. And I was looking at that South Africa squad today in preparation to do this interview, and boy, has that got some quality in there, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a power pack squad. A lot of big hitters and some quality bowlers there as well in our unit. So yeah, really, really strong squad that's been selected.
There was one name that struck out who I don't know that much about, and I apologise for that, is a chap called Jason Smith. Can you tell us a little bit about him, please, Tabraiz?
Yeah, Jason Smith, he's done a lot of years in domestic cricket. He's had a great season this past season. He can hit a long ball. And he's actually an all-rounder as well. He's not doing much bowling for South Africa because obviously we've got so many quality bowlers in the squad. But yeah, he's a handy all-rounder, and I think somebody that can bring balance to the team.
There's no obvious weaknesses in the squad. As you mentioned, there's power-packed batting unit, match winners with the bat, match winners with the ball. Are there any areas that you think that the team might struggle?
No, not necessarily. I think it's a very, very strong squad with a lot of match winners in there. I think just in general, not just South Africa, but I think, in India, it's always tougher for the bowlers, with the small boundary sizes, flat wickets. And as you've seen already, with some of the warm-up games amongst the big teams, and also the series that India played just before, it was a lot of high-scoring games. So I think just in general, for the bowlers, it's going to be tough. But, I think whichever bowling unit does the best, whoever finds a way to, restrict teams to as little as possible, I think that's the team that's probably going to end up winning.
And how good is it to see Nortje back fit and firing, an important ingredient for the South African team, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. If you look at Anrich Nortje's record in past World Cups, he's been exceptional. You feel for a guy like that, I suppose. Somebody from England as well, Jofra Archer, guys that bowl really quick. And it's just unfortunate, with the amount of stress that their bodies go through, with the injuries. But I'm so happy that Anrich is back. It's been a really tough road for him. Every time he tried to make a comeback, there'd be a niggle that would happen again. And, he's somebody that gives his all on the field, puts in a massive fight. So I'm really, really happy that he's back and he's bowling quick as well.
And the South African team across all formats, Tabraiz, is full of confidence. It's riding high, isn't it, at the moment? In Test cricket, we know that they won the World Test Championship. And in other formats, the players just seem to be full of confidence.
Yeah, look, that's what happens, right? Obviously our history in tournaments, it hasn't been great in the crunch moments. But, with the World Test Championship, the boys getting over the line, I know it's a different format. But a lot of the guys, they play cross format, so a lot of those guys play T20 cricket for us as well. And naturally, once you cross a hurdle, it's never been a question of quality or whether the guys are good enough to win a World Cup. I suppose we just had to get over the line, and I think, with us having won the Test Championship, I'm hoping that that will kickstart things for us.
And how great is it to see Quinton de Kock back at the top of the batting order, backfiring, batting well as well?
Yeah, Quinny, of course. It's not just South Africans that say he's a gun player. When you speak to guys from across the world, across different countries, everybody knows how good he is and how dangerous he is. So, since he's come back from his break, he's rejuvenated, and looks like he's really, really hungry to score big runs. So, with him, ability was never ever a question, and I think time away from the game always brings that hunger back into you as a player.
And having played in IPL for many seasons, he's obviously got the knowledge and the experience of Indian conditions.
Yeah, of course. I think that's the case with most of the big countries, right? So most of your big players, your main players in the squad, they've been playing a lot of years of IPL cricket. And I think it's the same for South Africa as well. Most of our main guys, they've done multiple seasons in the IPL. So that will always be good, having sort of local knowledge per se. Of course, the Indians will definitely have a big advantage. But, having your main guys spread across different franchises in the IPL, I think that will definitely help.
It's a tough group, Tabraiz, that South Africa are in. I mean, New Zealand and Afghanistan in the same group as well. So it's going to be interesting to see which of the teams qualify from that group.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. If we're being honest, it probably is the hardest group to get out of. Like you've mentioned, it's South Africa, it's Afghanistan and New Zealand, and of course the other teams as well, which you don't want to take lightly, because in T20 cricket, a couple of guys have a good day against you and that can turn the match. So, yeah, you have to take care of the other teams as well. But yeah, Afghanistan and New Zealand, two very strong teams. New Zealand always have been top performers in World Cups, and Afghanistan made the semi-finals of the last one. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing. Definitely not a walk in the park.
You mentioned Afghanistan, and in those sort of conditions in the subcontinent, they're ideally prepped for that type of conditions and pitches, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the Afghanistan players who are key in their squad have also played a lot of cricket in India. So, yeah, I think that's going to balance things out a bit, because most of the teams will be, well prepped. It's not a case of playing in foreign conditions. And I suppose for white ball cricket, generally you do get flat wickets. So, yeah, it's going to be a hit out against the batters. And as I mentioned earlier, in my opinion, whichever bowling attack can find ways to take wickets and slow the scoring down, I think that's a team that's going to end up winning the World Cup.
And as an experienced spinner, and as I mentioned your stats at the start of the interview, Tabraiz, you've played all around the world in batting-friendly conditions, bowling-friendly conditions as well. What advice would you give to spinners bowling out there in the subcontinent in this T20 World Cup?
I think number one, something that I've tried to carry in my career is just to have a big heart. Even if the conditions are against you, and they will be, you have to have a big heart, because things are stacked against you. But you can be the guy, on a flat wicket, on a normal day, maybe you want to go for less than 30 runs, or you want to go for 24 runs and pick up a few wickets. Whereas on a small ground and a flat wicket, maybe 3 for 40 might be a match-winning spell. So you just have to shift your ballpark a little bit according to the conditions. But also, you have to have the belief that you are the guy that can turn the game for the team. And because if you're gonna be thinking very negative in your mind, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna work out. So yeah, you also have to put your pride aside as well as a bowler and work with the conditions. If conditions are not in your favor, then you got to try and maybe sometimes hide the ball away from the batters and force them to make a mistake, rather than trying to bamboozle them and get wickets like that.
Well, You were recently playing at the Big Bash League, Tabraiz, and I have to say, I always enjoy you out there on the field. You know, you give it absolutely everything, and you were certainly enjoying yourself in the Big Bash League. 8 wickets in 4 matches, so you're obviously in good form.
Yeah, look, I've felt good about my bowling lately, you know, even just before that with the CPL as well. I had one of my better CPLs. That's a tournament that I love going to play in. And the Big Bash is amazing, you know, lots of big stadiums that we play in. But the nice thing is that the people turn out, you know. Every stadium that we go to is almost full. Even if the stadiums don't look full, because the capacity is so big, there's at least 30,000 people in the stadium, you know, whereas anywhere else in the world, a lot of stadiums don't even have that much capacity. So, you know, I'm somebody that likes having fun on the field. There's a lot of kids that turn up in the Big Bash, you know, so I'm always, you know, looking to just enjoy myself on the field, pull out some celebrations, you know, make some people smile. So I think that was also a reason why I did well in the Big Bash. You know, a lot of kids turn up, they love my celebrations, you know, you can see people are happy. And, you know, as a player as well, once you're happy and you're feeling backed, your performances come out naturally.
Well, I was just going to say, you're somebody who, you've said yourself, enjoys your cricket. You like putting smiles on fans' faces. And do you think sometimes cricketers can't perform when they're a little bit uptight and not relaxed and not enjoying their cricket, Tabraiz?
Yeah, I suppose people are different, right? Some people don't like speaking to others before games. Others like speaking a lot. So, yeah, I suppose it's your personality. You also find some guys that are very good players, but the moment there's big pressure or big moments, the guys can't perform. Or the minute there's a lot of people in the stadium, they can't perform. So yeah, I suppose it's just a mindset thing. Whereas for me, I love it when there's people in the stadium, because then it's a chance to entertain people and to have fun. So I think it's just about your mindset, I guess.
Speaking of big crowds and people at stadiums, I know Pakistani cricket fans absolutely love you. They really enjoy the brand of cricket that you play, and as I say, you know, you put smiles on their faces as well. Pakistan Super League is just around the corner, Tabraiz, a tournament that I'm sure you'll be hoping to take part in.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to put my name forward, and hopefully, you know, a couple of the teams are interested in having me for the comp. I've played in it a few times and I've really enjoyed my time there. So yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully I do get picked up. If not, then I'll watch on TV and I'll support the boys that I do know that will be taking part.
So you're in discussions with a couple of teams, and hopefully you'll get signed up, Tabraiz. Can we think that?
You know, when it's an auction, there's no guarantees. So I guess we're all just going to have to wait and see what happens on is it the 11th of Feb?
11th, yes. 11th. Yeah, 11th. So you'll be sat watching the auction at home on the television?
Yeah, look, generally I enjoy that kind of stuff. So even if it's tournaments that I'm not part of, or my name's not in the auction, if I've already been pre-signed, or whatever the case might be, I still like watching that kind of stuff, you know. It's exciting. So yeah, I'll probably be sitting at home watching. And yeah, whether I'm involved in it or not, I do enjoy that kind of stuff.
Well, there's 2 new teams now, so that means more players, obviously. 8 teams now, so, you know, as I say, that there's more chances of international players being picked up now, isn't there? The tournament's grown, and it's a tournament that's becoming bigger and better, do you not think?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, with an addition of 2 teams, of course, it opens up, I suppose, at least 30 extra spots overall, if that's a minimum, 15 in each team. So, yeah, definitely more opportunity to play. I think it will increase the competition as well, because there is a lot of quality local players. I think the strength of each tournament is shown according to how strong your local cricket is, you know, because I believe overseas players, you know, they, over the course of the season, they end up cancelling each other out, skills-wise and performance-wise. So, yeah, my thinking has always been, you know, whichever team builds the best local core generally ends up winning the tournament.
And having played in the PSL previously, Tabraiz, what do you think of the standards? What do you think that the tournament strengths are?
Yeah, I think, like everyone mentions, there's a lot of fast bowlers that come out of Pakistan, a lot of raw talent. So I think, there's also an opportunity for guys to get a bit of guidance. And I think it does help, for me as well, when I started playing in leagues, picking up tips and tricks and, ways of training and ways of thinking from people from other parts of the world. So I think that's an opportunity as well for PSL, for the local guys to mingle with the overseas guys and, maybe pick up a few things that can help their game. And yeah, I think a lot of fast bowlers, that's what sticks out. A lot of guys that love bowling Yorkers. So I think that's definitely a skill that gets showcased a lot in Pakistan.
And finally, and I really appreciate your time, life as a freelance cricketer, Tabraiz, how's things? There's obviously a lot of opportunities for leagues, etc. out there. Enjoying life as a freelance cricketer?
I wouldn't say, it's obviously, it's not easy, moving from league to league and being a freelancer. But I've definitely enjoyed a lot more freedom in the sense of, choosing when I can spend time with my family and, when I can go and work, etc. I've been fortunate enough that, I've been able to perform around the world and teams feel that there's a need or something that I can add to their squad. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, just having more flexibility to spend some time with my family. I have a growing family. I have a little boy who's only now, starting to understand that dad leaves home quite often. So, as a father, that does hurt you a little bit. So yeah, I think that's the best part about freelancing, just to be able to be more present in his life and in my wife's life, and picking and being able to balance when to work and when to spend some time at home.
Tabraiz, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for your time today, and all the best for the future. Good luck to you. Hope you get picked up in the PSL, and all the best to your family as well. Many thanks.